Yo, YouTube, what is cooking? And welcome to this video. And today I had the pleasure to interview the legendary founders of Persona, an upcoming anime and manga project that is being launched on blockchain. And if you enjoyed this video, I would appreciate you a lot if you could leave a thumbs up here. And now, have much fun with this video. But guys, ladies and gents, kings and queens, they are here. They are here. And I have to admit, I've seen one of those legends already at NFT Paris. There we go. Hello, legends. How we
Yo,
doing?
guys.
Doing great, guys. Do you hear me well? Because I think I
Yeah.
might be on the wrong mic.
Yeah, perfectly.
Wonderful.
Amazing.
Can you
Wonderful.
guys hear me?
Beautiful. Yo, Scarlett, look at you, handsome MFer. I think you're one of the. I think you're.
What? Oh my god, why you have interior like a vampire, you know?
Oh, he has a vampire appeal.
Yeah.
Oh,
It has that vibe a bit, I agree.
Vampire background, but
What?
Mm,
That's dope.
beautiful. Guys, I appreciate you so much for taking your time here. I was already in chats with Julie for quite some while. And yeah, especially, after you guys have been cooking on the Creator Program 2.0 and of course everything that's going on with Hana. And we all know you also kind of teased the game launch, right? I thought, okay, the banger episode after the rebrand of, Say Something, now more generally and not Say Network. I thought we got you guys on here and we have a little bit of a conversation, right? Like what's cooking with Persona because 2025 or Q2 2025 has just started and you guys have already been cooking really, really hard. Before I start off with my questions, do you guys want to grab the mic really quick as well? Like what's going on right now in Persona? Like what is your main focus?
I'll let Spike go first.
Yeah. A lot is going on. We are slightly pivoting, and we've been pivoting for like the last 8 months to be a bit more flexible as a team, a bit more agile, and to get a lot more into AI agents and all that, because we strongly believe it's like super interesting for the future of the IP. So a lot of efforts are going in that direction. On top of that, we also have like a game that is fully done, but we're waiting for like a great market timing to release it. We know that if we release it now, it will not work, so we're waiting patiently. While we're also developing a ton of new platforms, services, and experiences. Right now, we are like on a great trend with Hana, and we have started doing a lot of like tailored content generation. And it's leading more and more into that direction. And we also have like a great, let's say, roadmap of little experiments we want to try around NFT agents, around games, around the Persona IP. So it's a really big exploration phase, I would say, at the moment, where we are like trying a bunch of different things. But it's also extremely exciting because we're in Web3, we're playing with agents, so it really feels like we're on this pinnacle of possible experience innovation, and it's very interesting to see what we can create here.
Man, you guys have been cooking super, super hard, right? Not just on the like AI agent compartment, like Hana is crazy. And in a second, I might also jump over, present it here a little bit while we talk about it. But where did this like intention come from for Hana to become more like because I would say Hana is not the usual AI agent that you see on the timeline, right? Like AI agents, especially throughout last year, have been going crazy. Like everybody started to create their own reply bot. But Hana kind of feels like very different just for the fact that she is more, I would say, more like a content creator, right? Like she's her own content creator on the timeline, and it feels more like an actual person, right? Even though, of course, you can realize it's an agent, like some replies are a little bit wonky here and there, and everything is like Persona and Timefall Valley. But in the end, it's like autonomous generating images, animations, right? Where did this come from? Where did this idea spark from?
Yeah, it's it's very much a work in progress, and like we're in again full exploration mode. So every month, I would say, we're like changing a bit. Like, okay, what's Hannah's purpose? And I think we're like defining it as we progress, because there are so many things that we try through her. I think initially she's just the main character of our IP, of our story, and it was like, oh yeah, it just makes sense as a transition that now she's out there, she's an agent, she can interact with people, she can share a bit of lore, a bit of story. And then progressively it became a matter of, okay, now we have this agent that is like a really nice additional thing in our ecosystem, but how can we make it interesting? So first it was about creating more content that would be interesting for people. That's always a work in progress. It's you try some things, it doesn't work, then you try something else. Right now it's something that works quite nicely, especially on Instagram, because we're also cross posting those type of posts on our Instagram account. Is, for example, the anime news that we do. We noticed that it does bring like new people in and so on, which we really like. And on Instagram it resonates also nicely, so it's really cool for like different social media. And on that content creation path, we started giving Hana like more and more tools to create like cool new things, cool generative images, videos, and whatnot. And actually, that path has led us to think that because we had more and more people asking us like, okay, but how can I get Hana to generate this for me or to generate this for me? And we have some really cool custom workflows that we have right now for her. And the next natural step actually is that we'll create a little platform where people can pay in Hana token or Una token if they want, to get Hana to generate short videos for them, a TikTok video for them, banners, all of the things that we plugged so far, and all the things that we didn't yet fully release. So yeah, it's going. And also she keeps also being that main character. So we have like the next chapter of the manga that should be released this week if we make it in time. And
Can
go for it.
guys, I really love it. Can we find some Easter eggs, like some clues what will happen next in the comic, in the manga, from her page?
We had a bit of like secret elements and so on. But the thing is, with agents, it's kind of hard to give her a secret or give her something that she doesn't spoil the next minute, because as soon as you give her a bit of knowledge, they're not great at keeping secrets, basically, agents.
I understand her.
Yeah. So right now we've been quite careful with that, but what we do is that every time there is a new chapter of the manga that is getting released, we feed her with the knowledge of, okay, that happened recently in your life. That way she knows all the latest events, but she doesn't know yet what will happen. A bit like the readers, basically.
All right, I see. So also Hana is going to be like the main character in general in this manga, right? Is this also kind of like, and I'm interested right now, is the stuff that we see on the timeline basically information that was fed to her throughout this so is she kind of like displaying her character in the manga on the timeline? You know what I mean? Like, does she have the characteristics of the person in the manga as well, like when I interact with her?
She does have that when you interact with her through Twitter replies, for example. Like she has like all that knowledge that she can use. But for example, when she generates a video, she has an understanding of like, okay, what is Timefall Valley, what's around. Like, for example, this morning we released this one is a good example as well. She has like bits of knowledge of the lore of the world, all of that, so that the content that she generates for Persona holders is a bit more aligned with all that, basically. What we're a bit missing right now, and actually we're working towards that, so I'm a bit spoiling some effort that we're doing next, but in Persona we have like 8,000 characters, so it's always been a bit hard to to have a tailored story, for them or whatnot. But it's something we want to do more and more, because we create more and more content specifically around each avatar, like those short movies right now. And we want to build up a bit more the personality, the story of each of those as we progress. And one thing that to do so that we are going to implement soon TM is that we're going to record also some interactions that real persona holders have with Hana. And we'll use those interactions to record some key characteristics that Hana wants to save about this holder, and we will use that to feed the personality of the persona, and it will be used in generations like those short movies. So, for example, I'm gonna give a silly example, but let's say that Cap says to Hana that I'm really into music, for example. It could be something that is getting saved, and when Hana is generating a short movie with Cap's persona, it will be included, you know.
Can you remember me, guys, about IPs? Does holder have this IPs? Can we create some pages like that for our characters?
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
remember.
absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a great question, because our stance has always been absolutely, but I don't think we clarified it enough. So it's something we should absolutely do at some point. But we for us, it's something that is so core about NFTs that we never even made the effort to write it down somewhere again, you know. But for us, absolutely, yeah. The holders are the owners of their own personas, of their IPs. If they want to build anything around it, they absolutely can.
Oh,
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, for me, it was super interesting because, as you guys also know, right, I also did like a lot of AI image generations, like branded images for people as well. And for me, it's always like super fascinating to see this from the generation aspect, right? And it seems like the model is, it's crazy. I don't know what you guys did in there, but it actually is crazy because the only thing that you do right now is just feed it with the persona ID, right? That's basically
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, we use different custom workflows and models. The main one that is getting used here is Vido 2.0. But what we do is essentially we feed a persona avatar. Then we do image analysis through ChatGPT's tool that is quite nice for that. Then we draft a script with Claude 3.7 with the characteristic of the persona and additional information that she gets from Hannah's brain. And then we generate each clip and we edit it all in the same automated workflow. So right now we can generate one of those with any persona in about like 10 minutes, basically.
Oh, this is wild. This is fire. One thing in terms of that, most likely something people are very interested in, is this something that is like publicly available? Like if I am a persona holder, do I have access also to those generations and to Hana?
It's a very good question. It will be that's actually our next effort, is to build something that we call Hana Studios, and to let anyone do those generations with Hana tokens, with Una tokens, like our ecosystem tokens. We're also considering opening those tools to all the Web3 communities. That way, even we did already some tests with some penguins and other IPs, and it works quite nice on some of our tools. So yeah, the one idea we have that we are actually producing right now is to get quite quickly a first V1 of this Hana Studios platform, where anyone can just come in and pay in crypto to get some generations. Yeah.
Oh, this is crazy. This is good. I really love that. I really love the concept behind it. Also, with it being, as we said in the very first beginning, kind of like an autonomous content creator that brings some attention to persona as well, right? Because this is something that I realized, of course, it's very tailored to persona and the Timefall Valley lore, right? You see that in replies here and there. It's kind of always driving this attention. And I already see it in here, like also here in the chat, right? Where people are already interested. Like, I don't know, Hana, can someone share links in the chats? And like, where can I find this? So on X, it's Hana Persona altogether, basically. That's the tag. And the website is hanapersona.ai, as you can already see up here on top. Definitely
Exactly.
something very, very interesting to explore. Yeah, you guys are building really, really good. And one thing I also have to admit here, it learns super fast. That's something I realized. Like the first week that it launched, it was, a little bit wonky, kind of hard in
It's
terms of
very
reply
wonky.
detail. But then it was super fast. Like within a week or two, it improved a lot. Like it already started with like whole conversation flows basically, and not just like generic things. Was it something that you guys were working hard on the back end, or is that something that Hana basically learned by herself, just by interacting with the people?
Yeah, she's learning in some ways by recording some events, past conversations with holders. But we also like indeed what we released with was extremely rough. And I was kind of hesitating to release it that way, but at the same time, sometimes you just have to get something out there and then improve it, you know. It's a bit what we did with Hana, where like the V1 was awful, there was no landing page, she was doing almost nothing, but she was out there, and it was the first step. And since then, yeah, we really reinforced like also the team that is working on her, that is working on our agents in general. And now just the amount of things we're able to do, the improvements, and how advanced she becomes as an agent is becoming really cool. And yeah, the vision we have now is actually really nice if you think about it. Like, she's the main character. She will also be an agent as a service through all those generations that she can do through the platform that we will release. And the cool part is that she can also do those generations like on socials for content generation, promoting also her own like capabilities there. So it's going to be quite fun. It's this it's kind of this agent as a service, basically, where we evolve. It's kind of a website that promotes itself as a character on socials on top of existing there, you know.
Oh,
Yeah, that's super cool. Will you guys go to Web 2 with this idea, with this character, with this site? Because I know, like, I really like how in Instagram, a kid called The Beast promote themselves. I like how using TikTok Pudgy Penguins with these funny
Yeah.
short videos, you know, it's hilarious. I like to see it. And I see like you can do the same with your character and what you built. Uh, do you have these plans, or even selling this manga on Amazon? I don't know how profitable it is, but what's your plans on it?
Yeah, I think it's absolutely a goal we have. We've been extremely inactive on the Web2 side in terms of social media for some time, if I'm being honest. We recently started posting again on Instagram, and we have to set up again a TikTok account for person as a whole. So it's kind of a work in progress. But now we do feel that we have more elements we can play with to resonate on those socials. Because, for example, before with Instagram, it was kind of hard sometimes to have enough regular content to get people hooked. But now it's really cool because we have almost every day or every 2 days an anime news that we know is very popular out there, because we have like a daily anime vibe type of account as well. And then we have those short movies that are also super efficient in that format over there. So more and more we do have like content that is more tailored for other social media, the Web2 social media as well. We're redoing fully like a Giphy account, for example. It's not yet public, but it's been a work in progress for the last 2 weeks. We're with like Hana, Chibi versions and all of that. And yeah, so we're building more and more things over there, and we have more and more content that is now nicely suited for Instagram, some TikTok. Like at the moment, I'm working on a bit of a crazy AI video generation, not like the one you've seen there, but more like one where it's just one character that starts morphing between scenes, and yeah, and it's actually really really funny as a TikTok video, you know. So yeah, I think we'll start resonating more out there, but we have a lot to catch up, especially when we look at like Pudgy are the best at that at the moment, like by far. But it's also setting a good example of where we could go. Yeah.
This is something that I've seen here as well, right? Like this potential. For example, this last video that was dropped an hour ago, I didn't even see it yet. Super dope. And yeah, those type of formats definitely make very good for other social media platforms as well, right? This is something where I'm super bullish on. Kind of the topic, Ira, right, that we had on Say Something throughout the last couple of spaces as well, like how to branch out onto social media platforms and having something like this automized, right, where you don't even have to worry about anymore. Like your agent basically creates those clips. The only thing that you have to do is upload them then afterwards. It's like an endless content machine, right, where you don't really have to do anything. And I kind of have the feeling this is another level or another layer on top of AI agents as we have seen them until now, right? This is kind of like a new level, if you ask me.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm not that much informed of what's going on besides Hana. But it's definitely something new, without a question.
No, but it's also because you know, at the end of the day, we're still like not like a huge team, meaning that you have limited resources. And for example, for 6 months last year, we were like producing the first manga of our chapter plus our art style, which like really took all the art resources that we had. And at the end of the day, it's that's where I think it's kind of nice to have those new automated content. I think we need to differentiate it like nicely from our official like art that is like fully fledged from our artists. So typically our manga is one of those where there is zero AI used anywhere. But it's also great that we use a bit of AI to generate more content around the IP, because otherwise we wouldn't be able to be on all those platforms with all the different mediums and so on, right? So for us, it's important to keep both. I love that right now we have like the manga that is like the OG medium, super handcrafted, and it's the basis for our story, and it keeps expanding it. So I absolutely love that. And on top of that, now those automated content that enable us to grow the IP at a faster rate, considering our headcount. Yeah.
It's interesting, because I know that Asian market is, of course, it's OG in all this manga lovers and anime lovers. Are you planning to go to this market, on Asian market? And do you feel the difference, or there is no big difference with, European market like US market?
It's a good question. For us, we are still so niche in Web3 that it's kind of hard to decipher a European market versus American versus Asian, because I think typically in Persona we have like a very good mix of those three worlds and those three cultures. So yeah, I think right now we don't necessarily notice ourselves like a huge difference, but as we grow, we might specialize more content based on this and that, and it's possible that we'll notice it more. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I just had to thank some people here for all the love that they're sharing as well. Not just for me, but also for you, because we're also live on Abstract, and everybody is like, "Oh, look at this guy."
You know that now you need to show a heart like this.
Oh, heart like that.
Yeah, it's like boomer heart, and you need to show like this, or this.
Oh,
It's like this, yeah. Yeah.
Heart. Yeah.
I can't even, like, who's making a heart like this? What?
It's the young guys, dude.
That's the easiest.
Oh, yeah, that's true. But yeah, man, I agree a lot here as well, especially also on the European. I kind of have the feeling like in the European time zone somehow, I would still say, even though you say you're like a Web3 niche project or whatever, you're still like one of the bigger ones around here, without a doubt. Like in terms of visibility, right? And in terms of like how many people are on the timeline rapping Persona. It's definitely something super big. And in my opinion, right, like the prices definitely don't reflect the stuff or the value that you get back from it. Huge shout out to you guys. One thing, by the way, that I needed to show off really quick here as well is this, special Hana Persona card. Is this some hint? Is there something coming, or is this just like a special giveaway that you had at NFT Paris?
I wanted so much.
We do have some left, actually. We only crafted 400. Ooh. But we didn't distribute all of them fully. It was a hint that we want to do more of those. Just collectibles. The idea was not to do necessarily a playing card game. But like collectibles, we feel it's such a perfect item for people that love to collect things that can appreciate in value. And let's be honest, in Web3, it's an audience that loves that. So for us, it felt like a really cool type of physical item that we could do. We did a lot of hoodies, back in the days, or t-shirts, or like other like merch type of things. But at the end of the day, yeah, or I don't even know how you call that in English, like
it's like for a beer, where you place
yeah, exactly.
your drink or your beer. Yeah. That's also cool.
But at the end of the day, those, people like them, they wear them, or they use them for a year, and it loses all value. One thing I loved from animes or Japanese brands from the 90s or like late 80s is that they started to do those card collectibles for museum expositions, especially Cardass that was doing that with Dragon Ball. And for me, it was a good inspiration of like, okay, if we do physical events, let's have like a totem of I was there, and maybe in 20 years, you know, it will be worth great amount or maybe not, but actually it's something that I know people will like to collect and to keep, you know. So I would like to do more, but it will be something that we do, I think, progressively. I don't think I'll do a full set just yet. Probably more physical events or for other like big moments around the IP. And maybe a full set one day if we have the time to focus on that as a project. Yeah.
Got you. So there is not like a possible TCG coming very soon or something like that for Persona. But I love the concept though. I like this in this way even more because this kind of ties it down to like if I compare this with like trading card games, like promo cards, right? Promotional cards that you only get at certain events and nothing else than that. It makes it like even more scarce if you go in a way like this. I like it. I just wanted to bring it up really quick because it's also Hana, so it was kind of fitting to the topic that we're talking about here right now, right?
Awesome.
So it's so I would die from jealousy.
We need to
Julie
send one to Ira. There
Oh,
is Julie in the chat. Actually, Julie in the chat has some. If you harass him enough, he will probably send you one.
I will.
Sorry, Julie.
that we need snapbacks. Unfortunately, because of my Say Street Team appearance, I didn't even grab a hoodie. That's something I'm still but won't be the last time. Well, we will meet again, Spike. Trust me.
For sure.
I already Ghibli-fied our picture, by the way. I'm going to drop that at a certain point.
Nice. Awesome.
Yo, Julie just said DM me for Hana cards. This is live on stream now in front of, I don't know, 100 people. So Julie, prepare for the storm.
He's running a side business.
That's how it works. But yeah, besides Hana, of course, there are also other things that you guys are cooking, right? And for that reason, we have Scarlett with us here today as well, because yeah, some of the bigger updates as well for the creator side of Persona, right? Not only Hana as an autonomous content creator, but we all know Persona also runs a very successful creator program. And there have been some updates on those ends as well, right? Kind of creator program 2.0 was teased, which changes up the structure in there a little bit and also makes it available for people that are not wrapping the PFP on the timeline, if I'm correct here, right? So Scarlett, could you give us a little bit of an overview what has changed now with this creator program?
Yeah, so what I've basically tried to do is make it a creative program that's run by creators. So I realized there's a lot of creative programs out there, and most of them are quite siloed between a kind of small core inner team that do all the project management, do all the outreach, and then the creators, and they basically just put out posts. And I figured we've got all these amazing creators on board and they've got these great networks. Lots of them work as project managers in real life or like data analysts or whatever. So basically, why don't we make this almost, and no one says this anymore, but like almost more of a DAO, essentially. So decisions actually being made by creators on like what campaigns we're doing. So we've now, after 2 or 3 weeks of kind of setting the foundations, we've got a kind of core inner team of creators. We actually had a meeting yesterday with a few of them and me and Spike. So they basically now able to not just refer in leads, but also like pitch the whole process, even close leads as well. So basically, like, if there's a cool looking project and let's say one of our creators like Trunic, for example, or Burrow, who's in the chat, thinks like this is wicked, he can then bring it in, run it past 2 of the other creators that are in the kind of like management team. If they give it the go ahead, then basically that means, okay, cool, we're going to run this campaign. And then if you're confident project management and doing like KOL strategy stuff, you can run the campaign end to end yourself as a persona creator. If you just want to do the sales side, you can then kind of hand it off to someone else who's more confident on the like KOL strategy, KOL management side. So that's the new look program. Basically, yeah, for creators by creators, I guess is how I summarize it. And then there's a lot of other moving parts within that. So we're going to have ranks. So people are going to be able to kind of rank up through the program, unlock boosts. And also, crucially, we're aware that people don't want to project manage a campaign for free. So you're going to be getting paid for that. So it's going to be an extra revenue stream for creators as well. So basically, there's a lot of opportunities for people that are willing to work hard, willing to learn, willing to either bring in their network or expand their network. And we're already seeing people bringing in lots of leads. I'm going to shout out Trunic again, just because he's been absolutely killing.
Legend, for real. Trunic is killing it right now in general. Like, this guy's working now with the crypto compartment of Finland, like official government shit. Like,
the other day, and I think we had a half-hour call, and before that, he'd spent 4 hours on calls to Finnish politicians, which made my day seem pretty unimportant in comparison. So, no, big shout out to Trunic.
No, for real, like he's cooking right now.
That's what we're cooking. And then kind of like alongside that is all the stuff we're doing with Hana. So like, we want persona creators to not only be getting deals or even be able to basically create their own deals, but we want them to be able to benefit from everything we're doing with Hana. So we're super, super focused on creators. So, I mean, Spike's been kind of talking about this kind of like Hana Studios that will be dropping. I won't give away any more information than has been given away, but you can imagine maybe in a month or so, as a persona creator, you'll be in a position where you could like bring in a whole campaign, run it yourself, and then the content for your campaign, you can make that content just by asking Hana, hey, I want a video of my persona doing this, like, I don't know, typing on a laptop or whatever, upload that, and that can be your content for the campaign. So like basically everything you're going to need as a creator, we want to be able to provide. And you also touched on persona PFPs, which is a topic that has been brought up by someone else in the stream a few times. We've had a few chats about it. So yes, it's true. If you don't have a persona PFP, you can now join the program. If you're a holder, you can join the program if you've got like, let's say, a standard amount of impressions, like kind of 1K per post, like industry standard. If you're not a holder, you can join as well, but only if you're like an exceptional creator, let's say. So like Carlitos Way or someone like he's joined the program, like creators like that we're obviously willing to have on board, even if you're not a holder. But otherwise, yeah, if you want to be part of it and you're kind of like, let's say, a small creator, you can now join. If you're holding a persona, you don't need to rep the PFP anymore. However,
here's my shout out to Carlito. Yo, Carlito, come on, man, get yourself a persona. Like, what? What?
Yeah, she might have a persona. I'm not sure.
How is it possible to not have a persona if you're Web3?
But I had one. What was the final point I was gonna make? I had one final point about so if you're a holder, you'll get boosts. That's the final thing. Because we want to make sure that like it's not like you're a persona creator and then you suddenly feel like, oh wait, what's the point of being a persona creator when other people can just jump in and like have all the same rewards. So you'll get a boost on your activations if you're repping the PFP, and also you won't be able to be part of the kind of like management team unless you're repping the PFP. So yeah, that's how we're going about doing it. But basically it is now open to everyone. Floodgates are open. If you want to join the persona program, you can do so. And also if you want to basically set up as a KOL manager, if you want to get some sweet referral fees, you can do so, but you're going to need a Persona PFP.
That sounds sweet. That sounds super sweet. Yeah, Scarlett, I definitely want to have a chat with you at a certain point. I already shoot you a message like after the creator program, but I know you've been busy as fuck, so don't you worry.
No, I think we had a call ages ago, but then we meant to have another call. But yeah,
no, would definitely be happy because you guys know I'm a persona at heart, wrapping it on my timeline forever. I'm not going to change that at all. And yeah, if I can bring some value into this as well, with the connections that I have here, why not? Maybe we can cook something up. But of course, also for everybody else out there, right? You just heard it. You can join the creator program now as well. Most likely, the smartest move is to jump into the Discord, right? Get in touch with the people if you're interested. And yeah, there you find all the information basically.
Yeah, that's exactly what you've got to do. Jump into the Persona Discord, open a support ticket, and then we will bring you into the creator program.
Love that. I love this incentive in general, right? As you said, Scarlett, like giving this back to the community. Also for a fact, because most likely the community also knows like what is the stuff right now that we want to see as well, right? Like what are kind of like things where we see that this aligns with persona as well. And I kind of have the feeling that the creator base that we have in the community in general is already super strong. Like for real, there are creators in persona driving impressions like crazy, like for real. Even though with my following, my impression scale compared to other people in there, bullshit. For real, there are people in there, I don't know, writing threads every. No, it's not, but it's true. It's true, and I give it to them because I know that they are super, super good content creators. For real, I could never be a thread writer like some other people there in the persona community, and that's okay, right? Like I don't like. I'm happy for those.
Yeah,
I'm happy that I can.
He's the best. Just rambling. But by the way, I recently joined this content creation program, but I didn't use it yet. I don't know how to do this because I just back from my vacation. Actually, I joined right before. And do you pay to creators into Unagi token, or it's like, or you plan to do this? You plan to push companies to buy your Unagi token to pay creators this?
So no, we're paying. We pay creators into stables normally. I mean, it depends on the deal, same as any other agency, I guess. But typically stables, I'd say. In terms of the Una token and the Hana token, we did one season of, we called it Una for creators, where we basically rewarded creators that posted about Persona with Una token. But what we're looking at doing now is trying to create more of like a kind of like a, I guess, symbiotic relationship where it's a bit more back and forth. So maybe we might do another season of like Una for creators, but at that point the creators will then be able to use their Una tokens to use like Hana's video tools or Hana's like sticker making tools or whatever it might be. So there'll be an actual use case for the Una.
Great.
I think the mistake, I'm sure Pierre will let me admit this, a mistake we made before perhaps is giving out Una without a clear case for the Una. So we've been working hard and actually thinking, okay, what kind of value can we bring? And then how can we create an economy where Una has a purpose, where Hana has a purpose, and where there's actually like a proper kind of circular economy between the creators and between Persona.
Yeah, we have a lot more sinks of Una coming in, and also double staking, where you will need Una plus a persona if you want to earn some Una back. That's been a bit delayed because we extended the single staking because we still had like some a good portion of Una tokens in that pool. But yeah, in the next month for sure, a good focus is on creating strong purposes for the tokens of the ecosystem. Yeah.
Love it. I love to hear it because yeah, very much agreed. I think this was also somehow missing at that point, right? This use case for Unagi token basically at that point. So it's kind of prevented that people are dumping it straight away. I mean, this is something that you can never prevent. Let's be honest, right? You can only present the product. What the people do in the end with it is like, Web3 choice and not in your hands anymore. But yeah, I like it. I like it that there are more use cases to come for that as well. I'm interested, since you guys already said, yeah, there are more use cases to come. And, we already said it here in the very first beginning with like this possible game launch. Does it have something to do with that? Or is this gamified experience that you were teasing more like a Web 2 experience that should funnel people in here? Or is it a Web 3 integrated
No,
game?
I would say it's very much focused on Web3. It's tailored for a Web3 audience for sure. At least the game that is already done, because it was a gamified experience around like AI agents of the of Web3 AI agents. Without saying too much there, but it means that this one was more tailored for Web3 audience. Then we have like Hana Studios, where the goal for Hana Studios will be to allow people to pay for generations in Hana or Una token with like a big discount, or they can use other crypto native tokens basically. So that way we know that it will be a bit more interesting to pay with our own currencies. We also know that a bunch of people in our communities like already have this token, so it's going to be a great way for us to also empower a bit our own community.
I like
And
to pay in tokens, to be honest. That's my favorite part, when I can pay in tokens. That's it. Oh my God. That's so
yeah,
smooth all the time. Mhm.
yeah, but it's kind of the problem we're trying to fix. I mean, the problem, it's not a big problem, let's be honest, but it's kind of the vision we have for Hana Studios, is that we think it's going to be very popular, because right now you have a lot of scattered AI tools that are not necessarily tailored for content creators or Web3 communities. And on top of that, you cannot pay with tokens in almost any of them. So for Hana Studios, that's going to be the central thing. Like you can pay with Hana token, you can pay with Una. The goal is also to allow other cryptocurrencies, but it's going to be a lot more interesting if you pay in Hana and Una. And yeah, in future products also that we think of, we do have of course the Una token in mind always, every time we can create a sync. But before you can create a sync, you need kind of a product, right? You need desirability. You need people that are willing to come in and spend on content that you propose. So it's of course in that order that we think of our products. And also, just to finish on that note, that is always a bit depressing in Web3, but that's the reality we live in. You may create 20 use cases, and nothing is as strong as a strong narrative in Web3. So you will always have like some meme coins, you will always have some tokens that have like 0 use case, but that will perform well, versus some others that have like 20 and will not. So it's a mix of both, and we know it because we're very much Web3 versed. So it's not just creating use cases, it's also creating like a narrative in the upcoming months, is that's a really cool token to have, that there is like a really interesting ecosystem, because you always need a bit of both to have a successful one.
Yeah. No, I love that. It seems like here's the thing, right? It also seems like you guys have thought this through very well. That's where I'm always surprised by. It's not like, I always have the feeling when there's something coming from your end, like an announcement or something like that, it's always something that is already working. It's something that works. It's like out there, and as soon as it's running, it's basically running, and you don't expect anything like too overhyped or anything like that that's coming from your end. And that's actually something that I'm bullish on, because you guys are keeping it real. And this is something that I look into when I'm looking for a project, or also for founders, of course. That builds a lot of trust, right? If you know, okay, they deliver the stuff that is working at this time where they think, okay, it's the proper time set. But of course, also community plays a very big role for Persona. That's something that I realized from the very first beginning as well. This community building and everything, of course, that includes that. I'm interested. Are there also, of course, with those gamified experiences, also with Hana, are there certain ways or certain things planned for you right now as well to expand this community even a little bit more?
Yeah, I would say all initiatives that we have right now is really centered around Persona, creating new type of experiences, products that like really create this kind of futuristic way to build a brand. That's how we see Persona now. It's like just this new kind of new way of building an entertainment brand on the long run, using AI, using Web3 and all those new tools. And yeah, I think since pushing Persona is always something we have at heart. Expanding the community is of course also a core focus. I think the creator program is like really great for that, and we plan to do more and more so that like Persona becomes more and more like your digital identity, like a strong rallying identity also for creators of all fronts. So yeah, I don't think it will stop here, and our next initiatives will reinforce that even more. Yeah.
Love it.
Yep.
And just to add to that super quick, I was going to say, like, also building out the lore and building out the manga, building out all the stories of Timefall Valley as well. I think that will also kind of expand the community in a way, because we've got ideas down the line about how we can kind of use AI to create stories and kind of create these whole worlds. So there's a vision there where the whole Persona community is part of this kind of like much bigger picture. So
Love it.
I won't say too much, but yeah, there's a
yeah.
Spill the
No, but it's
tea.
true. Oh, sorry.
No, I'll go. Spill the tea. Spill the tea.
Yeah. No, but it's the long that's the long run, right? Of like
course.
how we make it in the future. It's really to build a brand that can be appealing by more people, that can be a house for many fans of this aesthetic, of animes, of stories, and that's why indeed we continue initiatives like the manga, the world building, like all of that side of building Persona, because we feel it's what will be the most important in the long run. That's also what takes the most time to build, and we know it's like it's not a 2-month project, but in the end, in 3 years, if we want people to say like, oh yeah, Persona, it's so cool to talk about its world, its characters, its games, its experiences, we know we need the story. We know we need people to fall in love with something. So yeah, that's an ongoing progress. Yeah.
I love it. And I think you already have quite of the position around here as well in this space, right? Like when people think about, I would say, anime projects, yeah, Azuki is the one that pops up first. And then next, I would say, yeah, Persona is straight up the next one, right? So the relevance is definitely there without a question. And also the strength of the IP. So I kind of have the feeling that 2025 is going to be pretty big for you guys. Last year was already a pretty solid push. I mean, I came into Persona, not gonna lie, I came into Persona just because you guys were doing such a good work, because I've seen those guys all over my timeline at the time when I changed my PFP. Not gonna lie, it could have been any other PFP as well, but you know, the community was going crazy at that time. I've seen posts all over. Everybody changed to Persona PFPs, most likely because the creator program has started at that point as well. But yeah, you know, that raised the awareness. That's how I became aware of it. And then I was like, okay, I want to become part of this movement, right? And yeah, now I'm here. And super happy, of course, that also for us as creators, right? There's always this support also from your side, right? Like NFT Paris, when I met you, Spike, man, this is like if I would talk to, you know, a DJ and community member, just a usual conversation. And that's what I'm looking for. Yeah, we don't talk about this. But see, you know what? Since we are talking about it right now, we already spoken about this on the Bosu space, right? But since we are here now in the Persona interview, Persona space, you know, we sparked some kind of rumor on the timeline when I've posted a video of you and Cav like speaking at the Persona event, and everybody was like, yo, is there collaboration between Bosus and Persona? And yeah, you know, is there something cooking, or are you guys just like good friends?
No, right now it's just we're good friends. There might be something cooking when it makes sense. They're still very focused. They have quite a straightforward like vision and route for what they want to build, which is really cool. They're of course very open to building like things on the side. There could be some things that make sense, and I think when the time comes and if we have an opportunity, we'll for sure be open to it on both sides. But today, no, today I would say that we're in this hyper chamber on our side, where we're a bit less focused on collaborations and a bit more focused on refining an expertise and exploring and really like testing the waters on all those new tools. So it means that we're maybe a bit more looking inward in terms of, okay, how can we make the best team possible, the best products possible, and what's our like what do we want to be, you know, in 3 years. We're refining all that, our vision, meaning that we're a bit less looking out for IP collaborations, but I know that we're fully open to it for what's next. And if we have a product that includes other brands and Bosu could be one of them, of course, we will both be extremely willing to go for it. Yeah.
I like that answer though, because it shows that you're always open, you know, also in terms of collaborating with other people as well, but that the primary focus should always be like Persona and its own IP, right? And as soon as this runs, then you can look for collaborations, right? Kind of the same thing. If I compare this like Web3 wise, I would say kind of the same thing as Yuga did back in the days, right? They kind of established their brand and then they started collaborating with like bigger brands like Adidas or whatever you could imagine. And I love that answer, man, because this shows that, you know, Persona is my baby. That's the prime focus. And after that, we can talk about partnerships and collaborations. What I love though is that I've seen there once more, like the support also in between founders. Would you say that especially with those, you know, bear market vibes that we had and like projects that kind of built in the background, that this is also something that kind of nurtured this a little bit more, like founders interacting with each others and trying to find ways to make things work?
Yeah, I think so, because it can be a bit but I'm going to talk about the dark side of things a little bit, but it can be a bit isolating and a bit rough, you know, Web3 at times, especially when you mint a project that can be extremely hyped, because all of a sudden you have like an entire space that just praises you and whatnot, and then 2 days later it might go another way, let's say. And you know, I think, for example, Kev or we had the chance to have prior work experiences. I was at Ubisoft and I released many games at Ubisoft, so you can expect that I've had my rough share already of community feedback back in the days. But still, it's always something that can be quite intense when you open Twitter and you see negative things. And in Web3, we're a bit more isolated. A lot of us work remotely. A lot of us don't necessarily go to an office where you meet 20 people and you can be, you can empty your bag a bit and share your feelings. So I would say that's where, between founders, you know, sometimes I do calls that are more like a therapy, where I share stuff where I know I'm kind of one of the only one that had this experience, and they do the same, and we can a bit express like sometimes how hard it is, but also how great it is. But yeah, it can be a bit hard. Right now they're minting. They had also their share of FUD like us. Of course, they have like their big share of hype like us, so that's awesome. And for me, it's just great to be there and to be able to assist them, to also be able to, you know, just to make it so that some of the hardships that we experienced can be variable for someone else, because that's the only thing at the end that I'm like happy about, is that okay, that part was hard, but at least it can be useful, because I can tell the next guy that, oh, be careful a bit about this guy or that thing, and that way it's just helpful. And yeah, and also Web3, you know, we're young brands. We're building in a new kind of way. We're experimenting with so many things. It can be, you're also subjected to markets that play a big role in how your community feels, in how things are going. So you need to compose with so many new elements. Now we expect founders to be on Discord all day, to tweet 3 times a day, to create great content, and to also build something interesting with around the core brand, right? Those are the expectations that you have around people. So it's a bit of a crazy thing, but it's also what makes it so interesting. For me, I love that we have all those fronts. I love that we have such a dedicated community. I love this way of building products. It's just a matter of finding the right way to do it. Yeah.
Man, 100%. I love this. I love this. This because this shows once more like and I always love when I have situations like this because this just shows once more that also the founders are just like humans behind their screens, right? Like and you might notice yourself like if you're watching right now and you might notice yourself like from IRL events maybe, right? And then you see like those founders talking on the sideline and you're like, okay. Most likely they're talking about the most wild business shit right now, right? But also in the end, it's also about sharing experiences, right? And mental challenges. And I think this is something where people often tend to forget this, that there is also like that also the founders and also the founding team. And I'm not talking about like you in general, like Spike, but also Scarlett, right? With being part of the team, like general, that there is so much work that this involves as well on the sideline, while everybody still expects you, of course, to present some shit, right? Like you have to have your own personal profile. We had this topic on our space quite often actually lately, where when we ask people like what are you looking for when you look for a good founder, and 99% of people were like, yeah, the founder has to have like an active profile. I want to like see his opinions on his timeline as well, right? But that this is like an additional layer of work basically to all the stuff that you're already doing. That's something that people don't consider that often.
Yeah, 100%. And for us and like a lot of founders, it's only doable because you have a team around. Like for example, for us, it's the team also that helps a lot drafting your thoughts, the post, and so on, so that it becomes manageable. Because otherwise, it's very hard. But I think that part, I fully get it, and I think it's normal that it should be expected. Oh, sorry. I need to get out of my room. I think it's normal that it's expected of founders because people, in the end of the day, they fall in love, with personalities, not corporations or just a brandless name. So it's normal that they want to know a bit who's behind, and that's how they can relate to it.
It's interesting also just like as a team member as well, like I found myself sharing a lot less content on X in the way that I used to. Like a lot more of the content I share now is about like my work at Persona and what we're doing at Persona, and there's a lot less like time for research threads and that kind of stuff that I used to enjoy doing. And I think that's pretty standard. Like Flo, for example, like I think everyone will know Flo, like he's an absolute legend as well. Like he's working at Unfungible now, like he's not putting as much content out. So I think it's hard sometimes to balance that like journey being seen as like a content creator, but in reality you've got like a full-time job working in marketing or working in product, whatever it is, and then you've got to try and balance the two. So I think whether you're a founder or whether you're like a team member that's in the quote like public eye, I guess it's still difficult to balance the two things.
100%.
Keeping it real here. I love that. I love that. So for everybody out there, right? Yeah, spare a little bit with your founders as well if they're not active for a day or something like that. Most likely they're building something, right?
I don't know nothing. For me, they are reptiles, and we know that green tea are reptiles too.
Yeah, I know that Ira loves the anonymity of the space, right? I'm interested, Spike, Scarlett, was that something that was like on the list for you at a certain point as well, like staying anonymous, or were you guys always like, nah, I'm putting my face out there, I don't care about like,
I literally never cared. I get it. I get why people are passionate about it, but I created my brand that I liked and I used that brand, but I also had no issue with like putting videos up of myself like speaking at conferences in the past or like pictures of myself. I don't do it to the extent that you do, Greenity, but like that's just kind of chance rather than anything else. I've got no issue with kind of sharing myself out there as well. But equally, I think it's someone's like personal decision, and I've got just as much respect for someone that creates like a super cool brand and doesn't reveal themselves as I have for someone that doxes themselves. And like I think you can do both really well, basically, and you can create like a super compelling story and also reveal your personality really well. Like, look at like Loki, for example. Like Loki, I see Loki. When I think of Loki, I think of a fucking penguin.
Of the
But
pudgy
like,
yeah, dude.
but I also think of this like really big personality. So you can definitely do it both ways.
Ah, that's interesting. But what about you, Spike? How was that for you? Were you doxxed publicly from the very beginning?
We had a funny story because Unagi was started in like 2022. So we had first a few or 3 projects where I was already with my real name and everything out there. But then the first 6 months of Persona, we were actually anonymous. We didn't say it was Unagi. We built it. I think, from June 23 to January 24 before we announced in a big space like, oh, Unagi is behind the Persona, and it made some hype. But it means that for like 7 months I was fully anonymous, and I had this double personality of all my socials with Spike and all my socials with Pierre, and I was just becoming schizophrenic personally. So I was very happy that it stopped. And you know, also it's easier when you're doxxed because I can come with my personality, with my face. I can share some personal news. I can share, and for a long time I didn't really feel like it. For example, I got married last June, and
Oh,
everyone. Thank you. And everyone was telling me, why don't you post like just a little picture on Twitter, because people might, be cool that to hear that. And back then I didn't really feel like it. I think right now I would be more, I would be more easygoing, sharing those moments of my personal life and so on, because at the end of the day, that's what you want to put out there. It's not a fake persona; it's your personality.
yeah.
And people may like it, they might not like it, but it's going to become a lot easier to do a tweet per day if it's really you versus maintaining a fake character out there.
Yeah. Now I'm on your side here, but I definitely see both sides. Also, what Scarlett says, right? You can also really build a very strong, compelling story about your character without revealing yourself. I'm on your side though, Spike. I also made this experience, right? That for me it was way easier, just like with being myself and just showing myself on the timeline. And I also made the experience that this is something that was well taken by people as well, right? Like this authentic, like IRL pictures, whatever, most of the time even has more engagement than my Web3 stuff. Just for most likely also because of the fact that a lot in Web3 is like echo chamber stuff. Still, we're still tiny, right? Like, let's be honest, Web3 is still very tiny compared to the rest of our like web use that we know. Is that, this might stick out there even more just for the fact that we all know, okay, this is going on in Web3. I know, okay, Bitcoin is under 80K. I know. Oh, there's this guy right now out there fishing, that might be more interesting, especially now in those times that we live in where everything is a little bit bare and everybody's building. That this might be, a little bit of a confidence boost also for the community to know, okay, there's a real person behind it, right? So yeah, I'm bullish on founders that show themselves.
100%.
I really love, by the way, bear market crypto Twitter. For me, it's much more fun here. People are more relaxed. Everything, like, people feel themselves more free to express some thoughts, and I love it much more. But guys, everyone, I think, interested in what. Bye bye. How projects build on the bear market? You just waiting for the right time, for the right, to present your game, or you build something like what you exactly doing right now, what we don't see usually.
It's such a good question. And actually, Bosu has the exact same problem where they were like, should we wait forever to have good market conditions to mint, or should we just go for it at some point? If you can wait for market conditions, I would always recommend to wait, especially if you kind of know you have a winner in terms of a product or collection or whatnot. For example, with Persona, we knew we had something special, and we really waited a long time to mint, just because, well, first we took our time to really polish the collection as much as as we could, but we went from from September 2023, where all the mints were free and there was no royalties, to 6 months later, we could mint for actually a good mint price. So I think if you know you have a good product, wait for it. If you want to experiment to see what sticks, then just release it and you will see if it performs or not. And also the problem is that you can't wait forever. Bear markets, I'm with you, Ira. Personally, I prefer it a lot more because it's a lot easier to build. You have a lot less noise. It's a lot easier to discuss to other projects as well. So yeah, on all fronts, as a builder, it's much better. But you open, but also you have the thing where sometimes, even if you build like something amazing, you open your Twitter, you open your floor price, you open your token price, and you're like, it didn't move a lot, right? Because you have a shitty market. So it's pros and cons. But to build progressively, to experiment, to try things, bear markets are great. And then as soon as you see like, okay, this is really great, like it needs like some momentum from the market to work, then I would recommend to wait if you can afford it.
Got you. Spike, as one of the last questions because I know that you're also busy, right, without a question. But one last thing that I would have up my mind now that we also talked about, after Ira's question here, like, should you wait for products to launch and whatsoever? I'm interested, like, watching back on your journey, looking back on the journey that you had so far. Is there something that you would have changed, or are you super happy with the outcome as it is right now?
Ooh, that's a great question. I would have changed many things. It's you always focus on what could have been better, or at least I do. It's I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and I'm a bit too strict sometimes with myself and with people. So I always focus on what could have been better. For example, when we minted, despite the great mint price, I was only focused on all the problems we had during mint day. I think one thing we didn't do that well for a year is that we were a bit aiming for too many things at once. And also we lost a bit of our purpose. Like, are we like a gaming ecosystem? Are we making new brands on top of Persona? Are we making this and that? We are a bit spread too thin between too many like different visions. Something that we've been doing for the last 3 months that I absolutely love, and that's why I've never been so motivated by what we're doing, is that now we're really refocusing on Persona as a brand, and also on the core vision we have for the brand for the next 4 years. And that, I love it, but I wish we did it sooner, basically. I think we lost a bit of time last year where we could have been a bit more efficient. Right now we're like getting in a really good position, both in terms of internal team and so on. But we could have clarified this vision a bit sooner, be a bit more focused on what we think matters, experiment a bit faster on new things. So yeah, I would say that. But yeah, there are maybe like 10,000 things I would have done differently. But it's always a matter of for me, just focus on your core vision, find what resonates with people, and try to block a bit the noise around, basically. I think in Web3 especially, it's very hard because very often you can be distracted by the market, you can be distracted by a community that really wants something, and you spend 2 months doing it, and you're like, why did we do that? It was...
I have a question, by the
Yeah.
way, connected with Mr. Grinty question, and it's very interesting actually, because I think a lot of content creators struggling with finding their niche, their core, their everything. So you also had this different directions, like game, like everything, like persona, like anime. I'm sure it was much more. So if you would back to yourself, like. What science, like how you could understand what is the core, how you would explain yourself back then, what is the core and how you can understand it quickly, what signals from this core?
Yeah, for us it was quite simple. For example, we had a couple of products already in a couple of brands, And we clearly had some things that were like not working for some time, and we then clearly had something that was like really working well, and people wanted more of it. But I think when we did Persona, at least initially, we had like this vision of okay, and then we're going to be like plenty of games around it and plenty of like different things. But we were lacking maybe this desire to build something a bit more innovative, because we very quickly started producing things that were a bit more classic for Web2 and even like great for an IP building in terms of games and whatnot. But we didn't necessarily went to the core of what we wanted to do with Persona, which is we are a really great brand in Web3. So we are like so nicely positioned to innovate and to explore and to build new kind of experiences, right? And I think that's where we kind of took a detour a little bit, is that instead of focusing on, okay, what's the new type of thing we can propose that like doesn't exist yet and that could be absolutely a banger, what could we produce there? Instead of spending more time trying to find that, which was the core vision we had, we spent a bit too much time distracting ourselves between, okay, let's do a fashion line now, or let's do a 3D game, or let's do this, or let's do that. Some things were still great when you look individually, right? But it distracts you a bit from this core vision, and yeah, that's why we were very happy to refocus. I see a question from the chat from Emilien.
Yeah. There you go.
Nice. No, it doesn't mean that it's necessarily dying. It's just that before we were doing more brands than just Persona. When now we really think that Persona is for sure the main brand we want to build around. It's the brand that people resonate the most with from all the brands we created. So for us, it's just a logical move, that if we build more products, it makes sense that it's even innovations like whatever, if we build agents, if we build Hana Studios, for example, all of that makes so much more sense if it's part of Persona, basically. So it's more of a refocus than anything else. Yeah.
Yeah. Also for the fact, I mean, I would say from a how would you say that? Like from an out, not being part of the community, right? Like if I see this as a normie person, let's just say it like that, right? Most likely, the Persona IP and this brand in general is going to be more tempting for me to explore than Unagi Studios, right? And if that ties into each other's, of course, like Persona into Unagi and also the other way around, then I would say it's even a win if you kind of put the focus more on this IP play, right? Where you get the interest from people. I mean, we've seen it with Pudgy Penguins, right? Pudgy did super, super good with concentrating on their IP stuff and branching out in those terms. So, yeah, I definitely see big potential there, without a question.
Yeah, 100%.
For both
Sorry,
sides.
I'm trying to find the space because I was just shouting
Oh,
next to
no,
someone that was trying to focus. But I'll find a new spot.
You're all good, my man. I know that we are already like extended quite long because Julie shot me a message when I asked him, and he was like, "Yeah, I can spare 30 minutes, and we're already in here for over an hour." So
It's all good.
so I appreciate you so much, man. But yeah, regardless, I know that you will also have to, of course, cook some different things here as well, without a question. Busy day, right? Persona. Generally, what's going on right now with Persona? Super, super busy. Yeah. What is the next step as a last question, maybe, Spike? Like, Hana is out there right now. Like, what is the next step? What can we expect throughout this month? Let's just say it like that. What are you guys focusing on right now?
Yeah, so we have Hana Studios, which is one big thing that we want to release. We're also prototyping new kind of small game experiences around agents. Like we're trying to create this core mix. I can't say too much because we're like very early at prototyping, but essentially it's more small experiments that can be game experiences or agent as a service, all around that, because we strongly believe it's the new canvas we want to play with. So more things on that front for sure. We have the fully done game Fantasy Brains that we might release if markets get better as well. That's completely a possibility. We have the next chapter of the manga that will be released this week. So very excited also about that. And then more initiatives left and right. But honestly, right now I would say it's really about experimenting, exploring more around agents. Right now we have more and more expertise around it, both internally and in the type of products we can craft. So I can't say yet if we'll have like one product that will stick and be crazy in 2 months. But the goal is to experiment fast and release things fast and see if we have something that sticks. Yeah. So super exciting to be in this in this ship exploring new seas, and we'll see where it gets us. But it's for sure very fun, and we have more and more thoughts, on how we can. I was talking about the stories around personas and around their NFTs, but it's also about trying to explore what we can build around those NFTs. We can build stories, we can build content. That's what we start to see more and more. So how can we materialize all that so that it becomes more and more powerful as we progress? That's kind of where we're thinking and where all those new tools and all those explorations we do are leading us. I think it will create a very compelling ecosystem, deep with rich storytelling and fun experiences. Yeah.
Love it. I love it.
A lot of teasing words, but but I'm excited for it. Yeah.
No, it's all good. I mean, I can definitely see also what you mentioned from the very first start, right? The game is basically kind of ready. You're just waiting for the right time. Right now, it's kind of like evaluating also what the markets are doing, right? Is of course also very interesting for especially for a project. So not only for us degens, but especially for founders. So yeah, don't you worry too much about that, right? I think that those were super dope teases for this little interview structure that we have had here today. Ira, is there something that you have on your mind? Anything that you want to spike on the hot seat?
Only one thing, sorry, but I wanna ask, do you plan some campaign on Kite, for example, for Unagi or for Persona? Oh no,
Ooh, this would be
Oh,
interesting.
lost you.
I think I disconnected for a second. I lost you, Ira.
Yeah, all good. So I plan in some campaign for Kite, for Persona or Unagi
Yeah.
that reward everyone.
The Kaito Social Fi leaderboard. Are there some attempts as well for Persona for Unagi token or something like that?
That's a great question. I think it's a question for Cap, though I'm not sure myself.
All right. Okay. No worries.
Yeah.
No worries. All good.
We will
All right.
Sorry, Ira, but we can check with Cap, but I'm not too sure.
Okay.
Got you. Are you so big on Kaito, Ira? Are you like actually like
No,
doing
I'm
Kaito?
not big at all. I just checked my Kite and decided to ask too because I see a leaderboard projects and decided to ask. No,
Got you.
I don't even try for this to be honest.
But yeah, Spikeman, I appreciate you a lot for jumping in here today. It was very informative. Huge pleasure for real. Once more to have you up here.
Likewise.
What's such a vibe in NFT Paris. So it's always, I don't know if it's just for me, but it's always like very different when you interact with people than online after you've met them in person, right? So I'm super happy that you were here and took your time. Yeah, I think
My pleasure
25.
and anytime.
Appreciate you. I appreciate you so much. And I think 25 is primed to be a good year for a persona, right?
For anime.
Game launches.
For-
Oh, for
100%.
anime. There we go. Anime Web3, right? DIP that we all need. So
100%.
Spike, appreciate you a lot for jumping in. And yeah, I hope that you have a good day, my man.
Yeah, it was
You too,
awesome to talk.
guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for hosting and for the invite.
Have a good one, Spike. Bye bye.
Have a good one, guys.